Hello and welcome to Miniatures Rundown. I'm Josh. Quick and dirty video for you guys today. Talking about Echoes of Doom, the Sylvaneth vs. Skaven box that is coming up for pre-order this Saturday, May 21st. We're going to talk about what's in the box, how much it's worth, and whether it's worth your dollar. So, this box is the launch box for the two upcoming battle tomes, Sylvaneth and Skaven, long awaited, both of them. Like many launch boxes, it's a dual battle box, so it contains a bit of each faction. A rule book that has the very, very, very basic rules, battle plans for narrative scenarios from these models, some tokens, and of course the models you want. Worth noting, this box does not contain the core rules. There is no $60 core rulebook in this box. They put them in some of the previous ones. It's not here. So, we're going to start with the Sylvaneth side. You have the Spirit of Durthu, 3 Kurnoth Hunters, 5 Gossamed Archers, and 1 Lady of Vines. Those last two models are two of the newest ones, only coming out with this box. They are not available for sale yet. Worth noting that the Bug Cavalry is not in this box. Those announced models that we saw previewed at Adepticon, they're not here, so you won't get them here. But breaking it down, Spirit of Durthu is a kit that runs for $70. The Kurnoth Hunters, unit of 3 of them, full-size unit, runs for $60. The Gossamed Archers and Lady of Vines. Now, we don't know for certain how much they are. Gossamed Archers are a unit of 5. They're probably a $60 kit. That's generally how they go for these kind of semi-elite, very nice models. They could be less. We're going to say that they're about $60, guessing. And ditto for the Lady of Vines. We don't know exactly how much she's worth. But she's roughly the same size as Dryka, the existing model for Sylvaneth. Same base size, a little bit taller, but she's not quite Spirit of Durthu sized, so I'm going $60 on that one too. That brings us to a total of about $250 worth of your tree folk in this box. Not bad. On the Skaven side, a little less good news. You have 1 unit of Clan Rats, which is worth $42 at current MSRP. 20 Clan Rats, they come in units of 20, come in blocks of 20. 1 Screaming Bell, worth $70, because it's a hero unit and a kind of a centerpiece model. The new Deathmaster, we don't have a price on him yet, but given that he's a brand new hero, he'll probably be in one of those hero boxes, not the clamshells, because he's got some scenery on his base. Probably $40. And the kind of disappointing news is 1 unit of 10 Storm Vermin. Now, Storm Vermin come in boxes of 20 for $60. They come in units of 10 rules-wise. At least they did in the old tome. Maybe in the new tome, they'll come in 20, in which case this will be very funny. But in any case, we have 1 unit of 10 in this box. We're going to say it's worth $30, half the price of the $60 box. So on the Skaven side, that brings you to a total of $182 in plastic. They are all plastic. And if you're a Skaveneth fan like me, Skaveneth? Wow. If you're a Skaven fan like me, you probably get the name Skaven correct instead of saying Skaveneth. And 2, things being plastic versus resin or metal is a concern. But don't worry, they're all plastic in this box. $182 of plastic for this Skaven. So that brings us to a total value of models, just the models, $432. MSRP for this box is about $200. I'm seeing $195 as the actual MSRP, about $200. Now, in this box, you also get the requisite War Scroll cards, just for these units. Those War Scrolls may or may not be the same as what's in the upcoming tome. For some of the Daughters of Cain versus Nighthaunt stuff, for Arena Shades, they weren't the same. But sometimes they are, and these tomes are probably coming with less delay, so those War Scroll cards might be very relevant or they might be useless in 2 months. We don't know. They're in the box. Tokens, and of course, the books. You get a book full of the points and a book full of the scenarios and the lore. I'm not counting any of those things as having any value for the purposes of this, because they're kind of ephemeral. They kind of degrade in usefulness as soon as the actual tomes come out, but they are there. But in any case, I'm counting the value of this box at $432, the MSRP at $195. Now, that does bring up an interesting point here, in that, unlike often happens, the box itself is a good deal of plastic. Obviously, Games Workshop always does that, right? It's a $200 box with about $400 worth of plastic. Boom, done, easy. If you're just after the Skaven side, technically the box is more than if you bought all of these models separately. Now, you can't buy the Deathmaster yet, We don't know when he'll be out. He could drop with the new tomes. He could drop in October. But when you can, if you're just after the Skaven, and you don't care about any of the Sylvaneth, and you don't have any friends who would buy them off of you, this box is actually technically not worth it, because you're spending $195 for $182 of Skaven. Sylvaneth, on the other hand, you're getting $250 for $195. Pretty good deal, even if you only want the Sylvaneth and you couldn't get rid of the Skaven. Now, in reality, a lot of us, myself included, I've already got a Sylvaneth friend who wants a Sylvaneth half. He's going to give me $100 for half the box. I'm going to give him the Sylvaneth. I'll keep my Skaven for $100. Pretty good deal, $182 for $100. But not as good as a deal as many of these boxes often are, and that is kind of a shame with the Skaven. We talked about that in our last podcast episode, which I don't think is up yet, but will be by the time this video goes up. Check it out. But at this point, I think you know the score with these boxes. I think most of us do. Whether or not these models are any good in game, right now, Skaven and Sylvaneth are two of the weaker armies to play. But they're getting new rules very, very, very soon. GW has said that the Skaven Tome and the Sylvaneth Battle Tome are the summer tomes for Age of Sigmar, so I expect June. My money's on late June, June 21st maybe is when they go up for pre-order, and then they come out the June 28th, or whatever the Saturdays are. Something like that. So it's impossible to tell. These models could all be hot garbage. We've obviously seen the rules, and of course there have been the leaks we talked about in the last podcast episode about a lot of the Sylvaneth stuff, and it looks, no pun intended, looks pretty hot fire, right? Gossman archers can unleash hell and then run away. Lady of Vines has a lot of abilities. The Spirit of Dirthu has gotten a massive buff so that he no longer becomes unreliable the moment he takes 3 wounds. Kurnoth Hunters took a bit of a nerf, but they also, other things in the book got buffed. The terrain in Sylvaneth seems much more fun to play with. We've seen very little of the Skaven side so far. So anyway, that's the breakdown of the box. Just to recap one more time, $250 of Sylvaneth, $182 of Skaven, we don't know the exact numbers, for about $432 of plastic in a $195 box. I'm picking one up and splitting it with my friend because he wants the Sylvaneth and I want the Skaven. Let me know down below if you're doing the same. I've seen a lot of Skaven players, and by that I mean me, who are kind of upset at the contents of the box and the way Skaven's going. So I'd be interested to have you know, I'd be interested to know how you guys feel about that, because maybe I'm alone in that one. Maybe I'm just sour grapes. But let me know below. That's it for this episode. I'll see you next time in Miniatures Rundown.